episode 2 of Series 4 of the Co-Pilots podcast.
I like that it's getting slightly more sing-songy this year.
I feel like the silence thing was slightly overdone.
Yeah, it was like 2 years ago.
And we're not going to capture the audience, you know? Give the energy that we so desire.
Like 30 seconds ago, you yawned for about 2 minutes.
I am fighting back a yawn as we speak. I'm really tired. I've not been sleeping brilliantly. But that doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's not what we're here to talk about.
No, I always have the energy to watch the pilot episodes of TV shows.
That is actually coming super handy.
Right, so this episode was supposed to come to you about this time last year.
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it?
I can't remember why. There was something that kept going wrong with it. I don't know. Did we just have like one too many?
I think it got bumped for something.
I can't remember.
No, we'd finished planning season 3, and then we stopped being able to record stuff in season 2. So like 2 years ago.
No, it can't be 2 years ago. This only came out.
I think some stuff got bumped from season 3 because we fucked up season 2.
Okay, I see what you mean. Oh yeah, no, that rings a bell. Okay, cool. Anyway, so today the long-awaited Atypical and Friends from College, which was a lot of fun, in a way.
Yeah, it's weird. We'll just jump straight into Friends from College.
Yeah,
it's
cool.
weird because as soon as I saw like Kobe Smulders was on the cast.
I need to do a very professional rustling of my papers because my Friends from College notes, which I made, is under my Atypical notes. So if you just give me 2 seconds.
Oh, you thought we were going alphabetical.
Okay, I found it.
You should start typing up your notes, and I should start making some.
No, because I like handwriting them, because then I can sit on my sofa with my new big telly, because I'm not sure if I discussed this on the co-directors podcast we did the other day.
No.
But our telly broke, our massive telly broke, so we had to get a new one just before Christmas, or it would have been had this not be, this obviously the day of our Lord, 23rd of January.
I'm moving into my new flat tomorrow when this goes out.
You should probably do some packing rather than recording this.
Luckily, we little bit ahead. Luckily, because in real life I've just filled in a bunch of forms and paid some money.
That's all you have to do these days, as I understand it. But yeah, so just before Christmas, I'm very thankful that we didn't have to pay out £531, I think, for a 65-inch telly. So that was nice, having bought all those Christmas presents. So it was just
it's an extra bonus, isn't it?
It's lucky that it just happened on the somethingth of January rather than just before Christmas.
Yeah, could have got in the sales.
Yeah, really good. No, to be fair, it was a decent price. So, Friends from College. Here we go. What's this all about? Is it about people who were friends at college and are now still friends?
Yes.
Atypical is...
The thing that I found weird about this show, right, is because I saw Kobe Smulders on the cast list, I was like, I know what this is going to be. It's just How I Met Your Mother with people. It's just How I Met Your Mother. It's what I was expecting. And then some little fucking kid calls some other little kid a cunt. And I was just sat there I think I'm going to like this, you know?
That was because while watching it, I sent you a text saying there's a line in Friends from College that made me spit my coffee out. And I, legitimately, I've never laughed like that, but spat my coffee everywhere. There's 2 kids arguing over a toy, and then one of them goes, it's my turn. It's my turn, you cunt. It properly got me.
It's like the look on the teacher's face of just that, oh no. No.
But yeah, so...
but then I thought they were never going to speak of that again. And I thought that was going to be the one of their 8-episode run. Just go, if we just throw it in right at the beginning, we never have to mention it again. But then it comes up towards the end of the episode. But
so the friend group, we have Ethan and Lisa, Max and Felix, Sam and John, and then there's some other people whose names I didn't get.
yeah, no, it's I don't know, because I kind of felt like, because it's a half-hour show as well, they were introducing a lot of characters. And I was just
they
like,
covered a lot in half an hour.
I don't care about most of these people.
Really?
Yeah, like, I like the sort of Ethan, Lisa,
Sam and John?
Yeah, I like those two couples.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I don't feel like I really care that much from the first episode anyway.
Well, I guess
like, I'm not that interested in like. It's cool to see how they interact, but like.
Yeah.
They don't need a lot of screen time. Just
Not yet, but I'm sure.
Focus on the people who are clearly just going to have a weird affair, where they just sort of like half split up and just have an affair with the other halves.
It's yeah. So Ethan and Lisa being the couple, we first see Ethan with Sam, having sex with Sam.
Not having sex.
No, trying to, but
trying to, and he's just like, "Come on, just let me slim it out. I've run out of content." And she's just like, "Yeah, fuck you, go get one." And he comes back and she's like, "Yeah, no, I've got to go to New York from Chicago because my kid's calling people a cunt."
God, that was so funny.
Yeah, the thing because you just sort of said like, there's a line that really got me. I was like, does he mean that line? I think he probably means that one, but maybe there's something better coming.
No, it was that one. Yeah, so the story was kind of abstract until they all meet up at the end. It's sort of all over the place. So Ethan's a successful writer and he's trying to sell his next book, but the publisher doesn't want to sell it. He's having this affair with Lisa, who is played by Kobe Smulders, who seems really, really lovely, and I feel just very, very
the scene
conflicted.
where she's shouting at the taxi driver.
Yeah,
I love that so much. I'm not even sure why, because it is just road rage, but it's very entertaining.
The bit that got me is after she's had a go at the taxi driver, Ethan leans out and tries to make amends and says, "Thank you for your service." It's like,
yeah, no,
it's just a taxi driver. Yeah, but I ended up with complete conflict over him having an affair because he is extremely charismatic. Like, he's really likable, really funny, but he's cheating on his wife, who seems like the most incredible person at the minute. So it's like, well, I mean, yeah, you're likable and that, but you're doing something fucking horrible. And I thought it really it's a good balance of, like, not being a two-dimensional arsehole, which is what I feel like John is at the minute.
Well, I think this is like a scene with Marianne, I think.
Yeah, the name came up, but I can't remember which one is Marianne.
She's the one who knows about the affair.
Right.
And just loudly says about, like, she's just like, Sam's just talking about how, oh, my friends are going to be back again. She's just like, what about your affair, though?
Yes.
And she's just like, oh, no, it's just like a college fling that never really stopped. And she's like, it's been going on longer than both of your marriages. And it's just like, huh.
No,
maybe you married the wrong people then.
It's an amazing setup, but something else I've written down is this is one of the best written pilots we've seen. Like, the writing in it is so incredible. The discussion of young adult fiction around the dinner table is fucking incredible, and it covers a lot of points. Like, when she says, why is it they're all about, in the future, bows and arrows? Why do you need bows and arrows? I just don't understand.
Because at that point in the future, they've normally shut down all the manufacturing, so you can't make more guns.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
like it's the Walking Dead problem. Like, they still have, but they have to scavenge bullets. And then Revolution just went, yeah, fuck it, we don't need guns. But no, I think one of my favourite bits is when they pull up to like the house, when they're all like going out, and they like, I was just sat there, I was like, is that the house from Black Mirror? And he just like,
that's exactly what I thought.
we're in Black Mirror. And I was just like, wait a minute.
That was a particularly well observed bit of because he keeps making references to it. Like, look what she's wearing. We're in Black Mirror. We're in an episode of Black Mirror.
The thing, it just made me curious. Like, is it the house from Black Mirror?
Have you looked it up?
No,
I'd be amazed if it was.
I couldn't. I tried to look it up, but I couldn't find the house, and I couldn't remember what episode of Black Mirror it's from. I can write right. It's the I one where they're recording all their memories and stuff.
Yes, yeah, with Oh no, sorry, I was thinking of the one with Donald Gleeson where he's the robot, but it's not. Yeah.
No, because that's in like Devon.
Yeah, I get those two mixed up for some reason.
How?
I don't.
One's
really
in Devon
know.
and one's in this like ultra modern like sleek house.
Yeah,
And
have you
one's
seen
in a
Devon?
cottage.
It's up and coming. Something I did notice is that there are quite a few outsiders. So people who've joined the group later than the group was formed. I think Felix is one of them, and John I think is the other. They all
Is
observe
John the
that
cunt
actually.
doctor?
Yeah, no, he's the one who says, "Oh, you want something funny?" and tells them about Dash saying he's calling the other kid a cunt.
Ah, yeah.
Sam's husband. They both observe that actually they think it's quite an unhealthy group. It's like, there's all this weird sniping and biting and competition between you all, and you just don't seem to see it, or if you do, you ignore it because they don't really know, but you ignore it just to get on with your friends.
Oh, it's like when they're like they're walking around like a bed store, and she's just like, "You like this bed? I'll buy you this bed." And it's just like, there's literally no reason for that. People can buy their own beds.
Well, yeah, but I think that's because she's feeling guilty about the affair, isn't it?
Or maybe deep down she's just like, "That looks like a comfy bed. Can't wait
I'll
to
bang
fuck
your husband in
on
that bed." Yeah, it could be. But
And then when they're sat in the restaurant and John's just like, What do you mean we bought them a bed? She's like, "Oh, I buy beds for all my friends." It's like, with their money. But no, I really enjoyed it, and I'm probably gonna watch some more of it. I think.
Yeah, this is going to replace that, because at the minute we're watching Schitt's Creek, me and Lisa together. I think this will be the show that replaces that. I absolutely loved it.
I think
I've
there's only
actually
8 episodes at the moment though.
Is it really? Oh shit!
So it's
I've
like 4 hours of TV.
I have written on this notes, and I've underlined it 3 times. This is already potential top 5 because this was so good.
With 2 episodes in.
I don't give a shit. I think but last season, 2 episodes in, I put a show down for my top 5. Didn't get in, but I did highlight it as one of my.
I put it down.
Yep.
And then I'd forgotten everything about it by the time December rolls. Wow, I say December. By the time fucking July rolled around when we recorded that top 5.
That's another thing. It's just really quickly the opening titles. I love them. I absolutely love it because it's a bird's eye view shot of
food,
like a dinner table, and there's all sorts of different foods on there, and it's just a really simple way of saying they get together every now and then. They have this food for this occasion. It's it shows the occasions and rituals through meals. So like there's Thanksgiving dinner, there's like cupcakes for a birthday, there's like takeaway food. I thought that was a really nice way of just really quickly saying, look, they're friends, they get together this often.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I quite enjoyed it.
I fucking love it. I am definitely going to watch more of it. So now I can get rid of my notes for Friends from College. Here we go. That's going to sound great.
I can tell you, it didn't. That sounded fucking horrible.
Right. Atypical. Let's
Now,
do a deep dive. Now. Right. Basically, are you about to tell me you recognise yourself in Sam?
No. I'm going to just put it out there. I actually quite enjoyed this show.
Uh-huh.
and I don't care what that says about me or how it brings this podcast to a premature end.
Why?
Well, no,
Why would it? Why are you worried about saying you
no,
like this show?
because I've read some of people's opinions on the internet, and some of them do not like this.
Is it? Oh, is it because of representations of autism?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, we should steer clear. Why do we do this episode? No. Okay, fine. What's the main? Is it the fact that he's not played by someone who's on the autistic spectrum, or
a lot of people have just sort of said he's
stereotypical?
It's not even he's just a smorgasbord of like all of the quirkier and funnier bits of autism. Like, he's not a rounded representation, I guess, is what the people's opinion seems to be.
Sort of like exaggerated, I guess.
Yeah, but then the problem is, for a TV show, it kind of has to be that to an extent.
Well, I mean,
not has to be, but it makes it easier for everyone. I don't know. This is the reason that we don't do shows like this, but I did this by accident.
Well, I think, I mean, you could argue, is it this show's responsibility to give a real account of what it is like? Or is it, like you say, for entertainment purposes, an exaggerated form of it?
What I think this show, I think its only obligation at all is to
make you care,
be entertaining, and also to go, this is a thing that not a lot of TV shows do. Like, not a lot of TV shows do it to an extent where you get like a secondary character, but not a lot of shows just go, oh, here's this guy with this illness, he's the main character, and we're just gonna like look at the highs and lows of that, and all they need to do is sort of go, yeah, this is a thing, look it up.
I guess there's
what I
quite
like it's not preachy, I guess.
No, I don't like. Quite apart from anything else, I feel like its heart is definitely in the right place. I don't think this is set out to, make light of autism. There's a lot of themes in it that actually, I'm struggling to articulate what it is I'm trying to say.
That's the thing. It's just a really hard topic to discuss, especially with me, because I have no idea.
Well, I mean, I've spent a lot of time around people with varying types of autism, like people who are on various scales of the autistic spectrum, and I recognise some behaviours in it, but I also understand that they are exaggerated. But if you want to look at a real egregious representation of autism, you just got to look at fucking Sheldon from Big Bang Theory, because I swear that show exists on the punchline of, oh, isn't autism funny?
I guess. But then there's also stuff like, what is it, Rain Man?
But then you get your stroke. Yeah, I guess.
But then that's a different thing, because it's not a punchline there. It's like a.
There are certain works of fiction that almost use autism as a shorthand for superpower. Like, what's the recent one? Ben Affleck, The Accountant. I think that was very much like he can do all this cool shit because he's autistic, and that's probably a bit more egregious and not showing too much understanding.
The thing that I thought this show did quite well, not to just like cut you off and change the topic, but I'm going to cut you off and change the topic. What I thought it did really well is showing that most situations have a funny side. Even if where you might think the punchline is that, like, there is a funny side to most things if you view it from the right place, if that makes sense. I'm basically just going to, instead of putting in the bit of us talking about it, just going to put in a lot of Daniel Sloss.
And I did think we were going into his territory.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If you watch it to enjoy the show, then you're probably. But if you go into it looking to be offended, you will be.
I mean, I have something has just popped into my head that possibly would change my perception on it. Is the obviously, you know, I've grown up with a brother who has Down syndrome, and I wonder, had this show been about a character with Down syndrome, I wonder what, because I have been hypersensitive to it. Like when I was younger, this is why I related so much with Katie. We'll get onto this in a bit more detail in a minute, but
I feel like it is important to have this conversation right at the start, and then we can just be like, yeah, but the show was actually quite good, and then just leave it.
I mean, obviously, like, not to qualify it saying, oh, so I know what it's like with autism, Down syndrome. Very different things and very different. What's it? What's a chromosomal below is what that. So yeah, so it's very different. But I'm quite au fait with different sorts of, I guess, learning difficulties. I didn't find, but again, I qualify as saying I am no expert. I don't have particularly close experience of, autism, whatever form it is, because Down syndrome and autism are completely different things. But I feel like this show has set out to do something good, and I've really liked him, which is probably the main thing. But then and like I said, we'll get into this, but there's a lot of parallels that I see with a lot of the characters in here. So the Elsa, the mum character, I see a lot of my mum in her. The dad, I can't remember the dad's name. Doug. I see a lot of my dad in him. I see a lot of me in Casey. Yeah, no, I'm almost worried to say, I very much support this sort of thing if it is an inaccurate representation, but within the fiction of the show's own universe, I think it sets up who its characters are really well and makes you care about what happens to the characters. That isn't to say you necessarily like all the characters, but you care.
I mean, I can think of a character that I actively don't like.
Is it his mate?
No, he's just like, he's fine. It's actually the mum that I don't like.
Really?
Like, there are just like a couple of moments in it where it feels like she just resents her life because
That's
of
really
his condition.
interesting you say that. Okay.
And then, like, I think it was just when she was sort of like always arguing from the point of view of, well, he shouldn't do that because he is how he is. And like that, I was just sort of like, but you're the problem.
In a lot of ways, yeah. Like, I do agree with you. I don't know as I'd call her the problem. I think
maybe not the problem, but like she's not looking for a solution. She's looking for a reason to stop it.
I mean, the way I looked at it is that obviously having chat to my mum, all the time about what it's like raising a kid with learning difficulties or whatever. I think I read a bit more into the fact that she has, where is it? Where the bloody is it? I've written the fucking thing. She has had to spend every minute of every day considering what his next move is going to be. Like, she even says, is he going to cross the road with his eyes closed again? Is he going to go and wander off, get lost, that sort of stuff? And I can relate to that because I've had similar conversations with my mum saying, we had to think about every possibility of what James might be up to. So I think I think she treads a real fine line of worrying too much about it, but obviously having to be so cautious because his behaviour is unpredictable. So if he was to wander off down the street with his eyes closed again, and get hit by a car, I think that having to worry so much about him, she then feels crushing guilt when she takes time to herself, when she goes to the bar, when she goes to the dance class, that sort of stuff.
See, the thing, I thought that her guilt in the bar came from a place of... I read that as more... I don't think I should cheat on my husband with this guy who I'm clearly interested in.
Mm.
And after hearing him talk about, like, his incredible, like, lifestyle, it's like, I do what I want when I want.
Yeah.
Like, he might as well have said, I do who I want when I want.
Yeah.
Because that's what I took for. Like, he was a cunt.
I think you're absolutely right in your... but, you know...
I guess because everyone comes from, like, we're both looking at this from different life experiences.
Yeah.
So, I guess you can see more of the layers that are probably written into these characters that I wouldn't see because of different perspectives.
Yeah, no, totally. Like Mark Kermode has always, and him being obviously the reason I started looking into film, that sort of stuff.
I thought you just wanted a job where you could sit down.
Well, that too. He's often used the line of, you know, you bring to cinema or, you know, TV, anything, whatever. You take out of it what you bring to it. So obviously a drama that's, well, not drama, a comedy drama that's, you know, vaguely shaped around a situation I can recognise, I'm definitely going to get more out of it. If it was about, you know, being a ginger prick, you'd probably get more out of it.
I mean, I probably just wouldn't put it on the list, if I'm honest. If the TV show was like How to Survive Being Ginger, I'd probably assume it was a documentary and not watch it.
But on that, in terms of relating to situations and characters, I need to talk about Casey.
I think Sam and Casey are by far and away my favourite characters.
Yeah,
and I don't know who I like more. I think maybe Casey.
See, I think because essentially, quote unquote, I have lived a similar life to, or at least we've had a similar circumstance.
Yeah, no, I mean she can clearly run.
Oh yeah,
you haven't lived the same life.
No, but just the way that she cares about it. When he comes back from his encounter upset, and she immediately is like, right, something's wrong, and follows him, and like, just, I'm not letting you go until you tell me what's wrong. That, and the other thing is when she's in school and someone's written something horrible on girl's locker.
They called her a whale.
Yeah, fucking horrible, right? The fact that she just taps the girl who did it on the shoulder. Oh, by the way, and she turns around and just punches her in the face.
I think one of the things I really liked about it is that it was a really cool like shot from the camera, and I was just like, it made the punch look so hard, where I don't think it was that. Well, maybe not that hard, but pretty hard enough to knock her down.
But that sort of defence of people who aren't necessarily able to defend themselves, that was me. If people were taking the piss out of James at school, like I honestly, like a red mist would descend and I would be ready to kill people. And it happened, you know. It was a soft play place around the corner from us, and someone was taking the piss, and I just chased them down. I beat the fuck out of them. You know, so I don't know what that's like. That's my flip switch. That's the thing that could make me kill someone. Is that having to defend that? But then, so after Sam comes back from his, we haven't even explained what the show is about, how he wants to be dating and stuff. But you know, take it as read.
I mean, we're doing this in a very weird order. I feel like what we should do is discuss the show and then discuss everything.
I know. But yeah, I'm not particularly good at small talk. I have to do big talk all the time. So I just wanted to get.
Well, as a large man, I think it's something right. If British schools had Lorcas, someone would have written Orca on yours.
Are you comparing me to the Spanish poet Lorca? Because I would very happily take that.
Like that, but more of a whale.
I'm trying to make a serious fucking point.
And I'm trying to interrupt you.
But there's one scene that I should, I watched this on my own. Lisa wasn't in. I was completely on my own, under a little blanket, watching this show about
You cried,
kids.
didn't you?
Mate, whoa, right. So there's a scene. He comes back from this encounter. Casey follows him, says, "What's the matter?" It then shows him in his hoodie, in his bed, with tears streaming down his face, and that got me. I was like, "Oh, fucking hell, mate!" And then he comes downstairs and says to Casey, "Sometimes I wish I was normal," and it just fucking broke me. Because I've heard that from people with learning difficulties. I have heard that firsthand, and it is, fucking hard. And honestly, I didn't cry for very long. It was probably a minute, but it was like...
I'm not gonna lie. There were points in the show that I didn't know whether I was meant to be like. I feel like because there was points where I was like, I don't know if I'm like welling up with just sad tears or like weird laughy tears.
Yeah.
But like it was definitely there. But like,
I think like, you just you cry as like a strong emotion. It's not always necessarily easy to.
It's never easy to place where it comes from.
Emotion.
I think.
Yeah, I think it's just a strong.
Especially around this, because it's weird because it's definitely a show that doesn't shy away from like but sometimes this is going to be really shitty.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of like humor there. And the thing is, it's weird because a lot of the humour comes from Sam and his interactions with people. But it's where it's the same sort of thing as with Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. A lot of his humour comes from just being super literal.
Yeah, that's what. There's the account of
people have compared Drax to like a quasi sort of autistic character.
I'm all for that. Because how many representations of that are you going to see in a fucking blockbuster movie, and then suddenly, there's a character who acts like I do. Yeah, of course.
And suddenly,
have
dust.
Him. Well, yeah.
But then, like, yeah.
Bit awkward.
But that's the same sort of like you take out as much as you take in.
Mm. Yeah, completely.
Like everyone goes in looking to relate to a character.
Yeah.
In most things. If I'm watching a serial killer show, I'm not trying to relate. I'm there being like, you see that analyst way in the background? That's me. The guy just like headphones on, click clacking on a computer. That's me.
But they were like, it was proper ugly, horrible. For about a minute, it was proper crying. But which is nice because it's cathartic, Because I had this sort of this inkling all the way through. At some point, this is gonna fucking gut punch me.
And the thing, do you ever find that you, as often as you go back to stuff that makes you real happy, I very like regularly go back to things that are like a guaranteed cry. Just because like sometimes I feel like I need them.
Mm.
Like I go back to I think it's like 3 episodes of The Fresh Prince that, two scenes that instantly I'm like, oh my God.
Can I have a guess at what scenes they are?
Yes.
Is it the scene where he is ranting to Phil about his dad and then he just hugs him?
Yes.
And is it? Oh, well, for me, the other one is when they move out, when they leave the house.
No, Carlton has a gun. I
haven't seen that.
After Carlton and Will are like, oh, this is so far off topic, but they like go to an ATM, and then a guy pulls a gun and goes, "Give me the fucking money," and then tries to shoot Carlton, but Will dives in the way and saves his life because he's Hancock, but not quite bulletproof. So then he's in hospital, and then Carlton goes out and buys a gun, and then Will gets like real sad, and then like demands the gun, and then Carlton's like, no, I want to be safe, and then I think Will just pulls that like, I saved your life, you owe me, give me the gun, and then just starts crying when Carlton leaves, and I'm like, every fucking time.
Oh, I've not seen that episode.
Oh, you need to see it. I think it's like I think he gets shot at the end of one episode, and then the next episode he spends in the hospital. It's good.
I mean, well, in answer to your question, I think I would, but there's not many. I don't tend to cry at sad stuff all that often. I tend to cry at stuff that, like, of strength. People show, or if it's a father's pride for his son, fuck you, that gets me every time.
Oh no, there's like, About Time is a really good film if I want to just fucking cry.
Oh no, I have actively avoided that one because it's a father son thing.
Oh no,
But I do really want to watch it.
I super watched it at the wrong time.
Oh god, yeah, no, I remember when you watched it. Yeah. That was a real bad time.
Not a good time. Not a good time to be watching that. Because I think I'd found out and I'd known for about 2 or 3 weeks, and I was like, oh, this should be a happy.
Just starting to adjust.
It's got there's Bill Nye, he was in Harry Potter. Domhnall Gleeson, he was in Harry Potter, and whoever the fuck else is in it. And then was like, watched it and just it got like, I think it's about just at the end of like the second act, and I was like, what do you mean? He's never gonna see his dad again.
Oh, well, I don't need to fucking see it now, do I?
Oh no, the thing, like, it's a mad time.
I guess
it's a mad time travel.
It's a time travel movie. I figure at some point it's gonna get to that. Sort of.
Yeah, and I was just like, done. It was another one that's like, because obviously we did Ratcatcher on the co-directors.
Yeah.
Where you just, like, some stuff just sort of makes you go, I just need to walk away from this for a sec.
Yeah, that was tricky though. That was particularly tricky. Ratcatcher. I'll tell you how bad it is with father and son stuff, right? Guardians of the fucking Galaxy 2. When Yondu's lifting him up and he's just killed his dad.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to be talking about. I've only seen the film once, but you know his big planet dad.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Oh, when they're throwing the thing, the little orb.
Oh yeah, no, when they're like, it's him and his like big, like, I'm a god dad, like, and they're having a fight. I thought you were going to talk about that bit, and I was like, no, that was just kind of.
No, it's kind of, oh, cool. No, it's where Yondu's lifting him up and he looks down at Quill and he says, I can remember so vividly. I'm sure it's somewhere approaching this. He says, he might have been your father, boy, but he sure wasn't your daddy. And then it shows the clips of him growing up with Yondu. That fucking got me.
We went to see that together. I remember you fucking crying.
That's because
it was a dark cinema, to be fair.
Cry like a pro and
just quietly,
silently. But yeah, no, I don't tend to cry at sad stuff. I cry more at happier stuff. It depends what the sad thing is. Like shit, like they're never going to be together ever again. It doesn't really.
Oh yeah, I never like. It's weird. I never cry at heartbreak stuff. Like where people are like, "Oh, I can't believe it." Like, but it's like stuff where I don't know. It's a lot. It's family stuff. I think that gets me. I don't know, but like this very nearly got me. I think I could have been. I imagine when I continue watching this, there will be episodes that push me over the edge.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is I don't know if I am going. Saying that, I probably I wouldn't mind watching.
I think there's
not again. Carry on.
8 episodes, and like I want to see if what it's sort of trying to deliver matches up with what it does.
Yeah.
Because what I really want is them to just, I don't know, not make it like, this is going to sound real shit, but I don't want them to make it just like and then he gets laid, woohoo, and that's the end. I want it to be kind of like I want there to be an interesting journey there, because it's fucking TV. Because he's clearly in love with his therapist.
See, that's where I started to get don't know about this. Because if she reciprocates that relationship, I think that is
well, that's wholly
yeah. It's an abuse of power because you're a trusted adult for this child. He's 17. He's a child. Or is he 18?
I think he's 18.
Oh no, he does say okay. I suppose he's 18. Fine. But
they mention it like 4 times in this episode. There's like, once every 10 minutes.
But the fact he struggles with capability for sort of ways of
thinking.
Yeah,
like it's just on.
Then okay, well now this is dark as shit. So I really hope it doesn't go down that route.
But the thing is, it makes sense, at least to me, that he would feel that way.
Oh, totally. Yeah, no. From his point of view, it does make sense because she's as trusted a woman who, you know, is affable, friendly,
Well, I think
helpful,
was
likes him.
that after he'd had the conversation with his dad,
No,
which
because
also
it
had one
ends
of my
with his
favorite
dad.
lines of the episode in it,
Which was?
where he was saying like, oh, I really feel like I messed up, and like, if I had a time machine, I would go back and I would totally undo it, and then I'd go to medieval times because, you know, jousting. And I was just like, yes, like that's what I want this show to be.
But yeah, I mean,
And also, I just want to see more of Casey's story as well. I feel like
that's true.
is, as much as it's Sam's show, I feel like she's a very
definitely
big
my
part
touch
of it.
point.
Yeah.
But part of me
And then
saying, you know, for all the...
there's a real big part of me that just really feels for Doug the whole time.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean,
Especially
so,
like with the igloo story. I was just like, oh, that's beautiful that you haven't, I guess, felt, because I don't know, there must be like that temptation to feel resentment for being like just not ignored, but like just all your effort being disregarded by essentially everyone. And but then to just nut up and just deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, for all it, like, you can criticize it for, you know, its representations of autism, whatever. But, you know, if it gets a conversation started, if it doesn't present a character with autism as other, if Sam is our focal point, which, like we say, not many stories do. But if they do, it's not a superhero representation.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of it like an actual...
The Accountant, you know.
Like, I'm trying to think of a TV show that does it, because you get very different stories with TV shows and films. Because TV shows are normally slower, more paced things.
But then equally, something that has just occurred to me is that I think... No, I was going to say something really stupid, and that wouldn't have made sense at all.
Do you know what I think one of the actual strengths of the show is? Like, it's not the representation of Sam and his relationship with Casey. I think it's showing that the parent... Because I think a lot of TV shows that I've seen show parents of children with various disabilities and stuff to be perfect super parents, and they tend not to just struggle.
It allows them to be
this is just allowing them to be people who, like, she goes off and wanders off to a bar and has like an evening looking lustfully at this guy, and the dad, it just sort of goes, yeah, I thought this would be different having a son, but it's not, and fuck it, like it is what it is.
Yeah.
And they're coming from different points on the whole, like, I mean, because obviously the whole show is about Sam wants to date. That's... Yeah. Have we mentioned that at all?
Yeah. It's somewhere back in all the...
Somewhere back in the last, 40 minutes? Talking about this.
Somewhere I did mention that he, you know...
And they've got different opinions on it, which is fair. I feel like they probably both have valid viewpoints. Like, they're both valid viewpoints.
I mean...
And his is just from very much to the point of, like, fuck it. I understand women. Maybe we can bond over this. Which I thought was a really nice way for him to do it.
Yeah. But then I think what they capture really well is the difficulty in the fact that, you know, they've had to care and consider Sam, you know, more than usual. The fact that he's now, you know, in his adolescence, essentially their child is becoming a man. It's made all the more difficult when, you know, he's not a typically developing chap. I think that they capture that really well. The sense of they want to look after him because they want him to be okay, but, you know, being scared to let him into the big wide world. But what I thought also was handled really well is that line is delivered, and well, from my mind anyway, it just made me think, well, that's every parent with every child,
Yeah.
no matter their capabilities. So, that's normal. And like, I can't remember the character's name, but the chap at the end says, come on, dude, don't worry, nobody's normal.
Yeah, I kind of really like that. I also liked the bit before that where it was like, everyone's first time is a bit shit, and then he talks about how he like lost his virginity on a table tennis table, and then like it collapsed and he got the net trapped around his nuts, and I was like, that's not gonna that wouldn't make anyone feel better. Like, it's funny, but like,
yeah.
No,
But yeah,
I really enjoyed it, and I think I enjoy what it's trying to do.
Yeah.
And I want to watch
we've
it to make sure
massively
that
misread it.
it follows through.
I would like to look into a bit more what the problems people have with the show, which, thinking about it, if we were responsible podcast hosts, we might have done before.
Do you know, I did actually,
that.
I read, I think, 2 reviews, and a lot of them said a lot of similar things to what we're saying, in that...
Yeah.
But a lot of the main problem that people have is the portrayal. And obviously, I have nothing really to base on other than what I've seen.
Guess,
so
yeah.
I'm just sort of like... But then I know, because like, I don't know if you've noticed, but we've watched a lot of fucking TV shows. And I'm just like, well, every character's exaggerated in some way.
Yeah, I think it succeeds in what it sets out to do, which is make you care about its characters, regardless of their capabilities, mental state, job, status, race, anything.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the most awkward bit in this conversation was when you said, Elsa reminds me a lot of my mum, and I was like, he doesn't know that I'm about to say I don't like her.
Yeah, I think my mum will have words.
Well, I mean, basically, I just won't. I'm the editor. Complete creative control. I'm going to delete this podcast.
But like we said, I'm looking at it from
a
completely different point of view. So, but
it's weird how
it would be boring if we just agreed all the time.
I think this
which
is
actually
the first...
for 90% of it we do.
We're getting really bad at this, like talking over each other.
Yeah, sorry.
I think this is more than maybe any show that we've done so far, the one that demonstrates the most how different lives and perspectives can make you take a lot of different things from a TV show.
Yeah.
So a lot of things we do are very light-hearted or horror.
Well, no, but it's good to get into stuff that talks about mental health and that. So even the conversation about what makes us cry, I think that's perfectly valid. And
yeah. So next week, 13 Reasons Why. Because in for a penny, in for a pound.
So I might watch this going forward. I don't know. I have to have a thing. If it starts going down a route I don't like, I'll be like, okay.
That's the thing. Is that I'm very much in the same place of like, as soon as I stop finding it interesting and on point, like it's done.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I think that's.
I think that went a lot better than I was expecting it to.
Yeah,
I don't know
one of our stronger episodes.
Don't know what I expected us to do.
No. Talk about dicks.
Well, no, that's what before and after recording's for.
Yeah, that's next week.
And also, that's what we use WhatsApp to send pictures of. So
Right. Would you like to mention what we're talking about next episode?
Yeah, no. Next episode, we're going a lot more lighthearted because we thought this week would be very lighthearted.
Fuck me, Ratcatcher, this, and now.
We're having a real shitty fucking end of the week. Start of the year.
What's bad is that
January's depressing anyway.
when everyone is already their most vulnerable. Hey, I'll tell you what's really fun.
Do you know, it could have been. It could have done something like fucking Schindler's List and brought out on Holocaust Day. That would have been awful.
That would have been quite tasteless, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a great birthday present for my sister, but. Because, I get Guy Fawkes Day, she gets Holocaust Day. My parents have a parent. My favourites have a parent. My parents have a favourite. So we're doing Handmaid's Tale. Because, we want to be happy. And Dollhouse, which I have no idea about.
Me neither. So hopefully they're similar.
Hopefully. Hopefully they're not... do you know what? I'm going to start looking at
the show you've thrown together.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Oh no, I just typed in. It's science fiction. Good.
Cool. That'll do. I feel we're waffling.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. We will speak to you next episode.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Bye.